Well, let's start then. So
Here we are again.
Here we are. Here we are. So, what's next?
Well, I've been thinking. What is it that's important for people to understand about why psychodrama works?
Mm-hmm.
Because it works. We know it works. Oh, I want to tell you that recently, one of our certified trainers in this country was contacted by a man who is starting a new day hospital for drug addicts. And he said the core of the treatment will be psychodrama because it's the only thing that works with drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty encouraging, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Now,
And,
why does it work? I'll tell you why it works. You and I, we're here together, but we have completely subjective life experiences, simultaneous with us being together.
Mm-hmm.
So that no two people experience the same situation, exactly the same.
Yeah.
First of all, visually, and because the only way we can really begin to experience each other is by role reversal. You trying to come close to me, I trying to come close to you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something else, and that's very significant in psychodrama. The role reversal is a central technique. And people who don't know how to use it, don't know how to use the instrument properly. But that's not what I want. I want to come to something more basic. I'll tell you what it is. We experience the world subjectively, all right?
Yeah.
As we perceive it. No human being can see another human being in their totality. It's not given to human beings.
Even not the person
No.
herself.
Sometimes even less.
Yeah.
So given that, what we are seeing of each other are parts. And we base our experience on what we perceive of the other person.
Yeah.
Now that gives us hope. Because I could see you completely. I mean, your being in your nakedness, or you, me. We couldn't change anything.
Mm.
You can't change an object like this unless you make it hot or cold, or you break it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be a finished product. We couldn't influence it.
Mm-hmm.
But since we are dealing with our perceptions are subject to change.
Yeah.
A classic example is when you go away as a child from your mother's and father's house. You go away for a while, you come back, and the house has shrunk. It has shrunk because you've grown.
Yes, okay.
There is even a classic story about the young man who goes away for 7 years, doesn't see his father until he gets back home after 7 years. It's a story by Mark Twain, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And he is so surprised at what his father has learned in those 7 years. Now, what has happened? Maybe the father has learned, but not as much as the son perceives. So let's not be so sure that we ever know anyone in their totality. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you recently, for instance, met someone you've known before and you said to yourself afterwards, I didn't see that part of him before. Did that happen to you recently?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Has he changed or has your perception changed?
Well, probably both.
Right. But more likely, your investment in your perception has had to be changed.
Hmm. Yeah.
So what we do in psicodrama, when we go through these dramas of our life, first we look at it as we perceived it. Curiously enough, just by doing it as we perceive it, it has already changed. We have tried as a research subject in Beacon, when two people had an argument just before the session, we have tried to reproduce it on the stage, and we can't do it. You know why? One says, that's not what you said. That's not how you said it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you looked at me. That's not how you moved. They keep interrupting each other because they have a picture of what happened 15 minutes back. But they can't agree on what the picture looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So as the director had to say, forget that. What were you arguing about? Let's hear the argument.
Yeah. Well, but don't you think that in this case, the fact that we have technologies like this camera, no, could make it easy for people as we could, I don't know if it's called in
We've
English,
done that. To record them?
Yes, to record them.
Okay, we did that with videotape, with TV, with teenage kids. How one behaved in a very extreme way, a 17-year-old boy, and he was shown the video, and he said, that's not me. What he was saying was, I don't recognize myself, I don't know myself.
Mm-hmm.
It is very interesting, because it's true of most of us.
Mm-hmm.
We really don't know ourselves very well, because we don't see ourselves the way the other person sees us.
Even when we have an evidence recorded.
I'm just telling you what I said, what I told you. That I said, that's not me, I don't recognize myself. In fact, I had another example. When I was writing my memoirs, I wrote a page or two about my parents, how I perceived them.
Mm-hmm.
My mother happened to pick up the sheet when she was visiting and reading it. She didn't ask me, she just picked it up. You know how parents are. And she said, I don't recognize myself. And I said, you're not supposed to. It's not your story, it's mine. A few days later, I happened to ask my sister, would you look at this page and tell me what you think? And she said, that's exactly how they were.
Mm-hmm.
So, it depends on how you experience these people. And that includes perception. And we base our evaluation of other people on our subjective perception. Then, as you had recently, you have to change your perception of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was more than you had seen before. That's what psychodrama does also to the people in the group. They see more of that person than they saw before. So it expands our vision and our experience in every sense.
Mm-hmm.